जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Baladeva Jaya Subhadramai. Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Narsimhadev, Narsimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, निताय गौर सुंदर की, पतित पांच प्रभुपाद की, समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Turning from Gantra Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, entitled as The Characteristics of King Puranjana, text number 15. Gantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. नीला स्फटिका वैदुर्य मुक्ता मर्कटारुणैः क्लिप्ता हरम्य स्थलिं दीप्तं श्रिया भोगवतीम् इव नीलस्फटिका वैदुर्य मुक्ता मर्कटारुणैः क्लिप्ता हरम्य स्थलिं दीप्तं श्रिया भोगवतीम् इव नीलस्फटिका वैदुर्य मुक्ता मकतारुढै क्लिप्ता हरम्य स्थलिं दीप्तं श्रिया भोगवतीम् इव नीलस्फटिका वैदुर्य मुक्ता मर्कटारुणैः क्लिप्ता हरम्य स्थलिं दीप्तां श्रिया भोगवतीम् इव नीलस्फटिक वैदुर्य मुक्ता मर्कटारुढै क्लिप्ता हरम्य स्थलिं दीप्तां श्रिया भोगवतीमिव नीलस्फटिक वैदुर्य मुक्ता मर्कटारुणैः क्लिप्ता हरम्य स्थलिं दीप्तां श्रिया भोगवतीम् इव नीलस्फटिक वैदुर्य मुक्ता मर्कटारुणैः क्लिप्ता स्थलिं दीप्तां श्रिया भोगवतीम् इव नीलस्फटिक वैदुर्य मुक्ता मर्कटारुणैः क्लिप्ता हरम्य स्थलिं दीप्तां श्रिया भोगवतीम् इव Neela, sapphires, sphatika, crystals, Vaidurya, diamonds, Mukta, pearls, Markata, emeralds, Arunai, with rubies, Klipta, bedecked, Haramya, Sthalim, the floors of the palaces, Diptam, lustrous, Shriya, with beauty, Bhogavatim, the celestial town named Bhogavati, Eva, like. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The floors of the house in that city were made of sapphire, crystal, diamond, pearl, emeralds and rubies. Because of the lustres of these houses in the capital, the city was compared to the celestial town named Bhogavati. Purport: in the city of the body, the heart is considered to be the capital. Just as the capital of state is especially gorgeously filled with various high buildings and lustrous palaces, the heart of the body is filled with various desires and plans for material enjoyment. Such plans are sometimes compared to valuable jewels such as sapphire, rubies, pearls, and emeralds. The heart becomes the center for all planning for material enjoyment. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langyayate girim yatkripatamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Iswaram. So in this verse it is described about the heart, which is capital of city. City is with the 9 gates described as body, and then heart is a capital, and it is specially decorated with various kinds of jewels which are compared with desires. So various desires for sense gratification. Vidyam Dehi, Rupam Dehi, Rupavati Bharyam Dehi. Like that, there are so many desires: name, fame, glories, position, power. So many desires is there in the deep rooted in the heart. This anatomically we know heart is there, but this body we have 3 layers. We know the 3 types of body is there: buddhi, man, buddhi, ahankar. So even then subtler than that, that is heart is considered as chitta or consciousness, and this is filled with so many desires. Because of this material desires, we are existing in this material world. The living entities are here in this material world. The desires to enjoy separately from Krishna. So when these desires are purified and we have only desires to serve Krishna, then we become qualified to go back to Godhead. So this whole practice of Krishna consciousness is to purify our desires. Devotional service is very auspicious because it purifies even the subtle desires. The other processes like Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Karma Yoga, all these things actually does not purify the desires. Our desires may be satisfied, but the devotional service is the only process by our desires are purified. How that is purified? Because the devotional service to Supreme Lord is so attractive, has so much mellow rasa, that it makes all material desires very small. The nectar which experienced by serving the Lord make all other types of happiness very, very low, and therefore the living entity naturally gives them up. Like Prabhupada, when he was preaching into West, then he saw all these hippies, they all taking drugs lying on the street. Then he went and asked, why do you take drugs? Then they say that, Swamiji, we stay high. Then Prabhupada said, what happens the next day? Then they lowered their head. Then Prabhupada asked them, okay, I have one drug which will keep you high forever. Will you take? They all got excited, yes. Then Prabhupada asked them to come and regularly participate in the Kirtan and discourse. So when they started chanting and hearing in the association of pure devotee Prabhupada, they started experiencing that nectar. And then there was so much, there was so much feeling happiness that they were not inclined to take intoxication. So this is actually fact, which all of us have experienced in some other way. So that's how the devotional service has to be cultivated. We have to. There are two things: rules and regulations are there. Do's and don'ts. Do's is meant for remembering Krishna, and don't is meant for not forgetting him. So, by not forgetting Krishna, we avoid no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. So, in this way, Krishna remains in our consciousness. As soon as we break these four regulative principles, then we see that suddenly we'll forget Krishna, and it will take effort to practice Krishna consciousness again. I met one boy, he was telling, till recently I was taking non-veg and I was not inclined to come here. But I gave it up. I don't know why I gave it up, but I gave it up, and then I feel very much to come here. So this is one example that how naturally when we do this all sinful activities, then the heart is filled with all low grade desires. The access to a higher taste is stopped, and then we forget Krishna. So we should very cautiously, we have to follow all these rules and regulations. Like do's is book reading, studying Srila Prabhupada books, chanting Hare Krishna attentively, honoring prasadam, taking association of devotees are all meant to remind Krishna. So this desires, one has to very, very carefully, one has to cultivate the desires. How we desire actually, we desire when we are in association of such things. Like we are in association of people who are who wants to enjoy materially. Then we see that naturally we also infected with those kinds of desires. Therefore, in Bhagavatam it is said that Yosit Sangi Sanganam, that when we associate with those people who are attached with opposite gender, actually their association is very dangerous, because already this desires to enjoy is there from time immemorial and very deep rooted inside our heart consciousness. And when it gets a suitable atmosphere, that it actually comes out. It's like when the seed is there, and when it gets a natural heat and light and water, then it starts sprouting. So similarly, when these desires are already there, and when it gets a natural situation where people are wants to have it, and it's facilitated, then it starts coming out, and it becomes very difficult also sometimes to control. So easier in the beginning it is, and when it grows, it becomes more and more difficult. It becomes exponentially difficult to control the desires when it has developed. So in the beginning itself, one should cut it off. The best is not to let it come again and again. So one should carefully avoid material association. See that even people are going to work, or devotees are studying in college, so they have to associate with people, their employees, their colleagues, their friends. So, and when they are associating, they also feel that they are getting affected. Everyone feels that they are getting affected, and then they come back and then they try to recollect, know what's happening. and then they wants to avoid it, and they're thinking how we can avoid it. So you have to be very careful. Like one devotee asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is the characteristics of a Vaishnava? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, Vaishnava's characteristics is uh, he avoid non-devotees association. So that is uh, asat sanga tyagat sei Vaishnava achara. So this is one of the important element characteristics of Vaishnava etiquette, that one should carefully avoid bad association. Bad association is not only physical, it can come in the various subtle ways. Uh, Presently, we can see people are influenced by social media. So one should be very, very careful not to get trapped in that way. So in the so many ways, uh, earlier it was like called newspaper or magazines. So it was prohibited to for devotees to unnecessarily get uh, involved in too much in all these things. Better to keep it away. And now it is added like social media. So one should be very, very careful to use that. If we are not expert, then better we can avoid it, or we can take help of devotees and use it. Because those things actually springs out all these material desires. It's mentioned that heart becomes the center for all planning for material enjoyment. So these different stages of material desires there in heart, it is there uh, in hidden form. Then it is coming out. Then it comes in the way of thinking, feeling, willing. Then one try to plan to satisfy those desires, and then one execute those desires, execute those plans. Krishna is telling, Arjuna is asking how one is forced to uh, act when he does not want to act. Krishna is describing in Bhagavad Gita, Kam esa, Krodha esa, Rajogud samudbhava, Mahasano mahapapma, Vidhi enam hi varinam. Then it is lust only, Arjuna. The all devouring enemy of living entity. So the lust is Krishnendriya Piti is called prema, and when we try to satisfy our uh, senses, that is called lust. So that the different desires to enjoy materially is lust, and this material desires or this lust is the product of rajoguna. Kama esa, krodha esa, rajoguna samudbhava. Krishna is telling us. So it is rajoguna, the effect of rajoguna. And material desires are coming, and when desires are not fulfilled, it is transformed into frustration, anger. So, and we see that how then the living entity's intelligence is bewildered and he falls down. The whole cycle is there. So, desires can become very strong, and then it can become very difficult to control. And really, actually, one should be very alert and afraid of it. Therefore, devotees, they sincerely pray to Lord, O my Lord, O energy of Lord, kindly engage me in your loving devotional service. So that we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're chanting the holy name of the Lord. We are expressing our sincerity, our prayers that so far somehow or other I am being engaged in serving the senses, influenced, propelled by so many material desires, but I want to be engaged in your loving devotional service. So instead of enjoying materially, we are trying to pray to Krishna that let me engage in your service. So that's how the actually by the help of Lord only we can come out of it. On our own, it is very very difficult. You see that there are so many examples. Vishwamitra Muni, he was such a great yogi, such a great yogi. He is trying to control his senses. But then at one point of time he failed. Uh, on the other hand, we see that Srila Haridas Thakur, he was chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and he was also also similarly he was allured, but he was successful because he was depending upon the Lord. He was completely depending on the Lord and His holy name, and therefore he came out successfully. So similarly, at present time, though we have a great challenge, at modern time there is so much glamour is there. One can very easily swayed off. But if we sincerely chant the holy name of the Lord, then we can actually come out successfully, come out victoriously. So this chanting of holy name actually is the greatest mean for living entity, especially at Kali Yuga, to counteract all these material desires. In this important things to note is that the capital of heart is called Bhogavati. Sri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Sundar ki jai. Bhogavati is the capital of heavenly planet, Bhogavati. So that is the place where all one can fulfill all one's material desire, all bhoga. This is available. So the heart is actually is when it is not engaged in the service of the Lord, naturally it will plan for sense gratification. So this is by default. Sense gratification, we do not have to put effort, but to serve the Lord, we have to actually put effort. This present conditional stage, when we are subjected to three modes, and especially the lower modes of ignorance and passion, Rajoguna and Tamoguna, it will come very naturally to enjoy. But to serve the Lord, one has to get inspired. That inspiration will come by our great fortune when we get association of devotees. So as we try to avoid association, not to get afflicted with material desires, similarly also we have to put effort to get association of devotees, where we get inspired to serve the Lord. We get inspired to chant the holy name of the Lord. So for this congregational chanting or the devotees coming together and trying to please the Lord is very very important. If we are left alone, we will find it will be very difficult, because naturally we will be inclined towards sense gratification. In the association of devotees, that inclination will develop to serve the Lord. We get inspired seeing others how wonderfully they are serving. We get inspired. So this is equally important to us. Avoid association of non-devotees and aspire for the association of devotees. Then we will see that the desires will keep away from material desires and will develop the desires to serve the Lord. So actually this is part of sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti is we are trying to practice pure devotional service. We are trying to develop devotional attitude. So, see, there are there's 64 items of devotional service is mentioned in that. 5 is very important. Um, in that, association of devotees is very, very important. In the association of devotees, one should chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one should discuss Krishna Katha. So, then uh, we will progress. We will progress towards our spiritual goal, developing love for Krishna, developing loving sentiment for Krishna. ग्रंथा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, पतित पांच प्रभुपाद की जय।